Right now, there is a machine that can, pass the bar exam, write flawless code in dozens of languages, and diagnose complex medical conditions.
Yeah, and do it all faster than any human alive.
Exactly. Faster than anyone. And yet, millions of people are walking into work today, grabbing their coffee, opening their laptops, and just completely ignoring it.
They really are. It's wild.
I mean, they're operating under this incredibly dangerous assumption that they are irreplaceable. There's this deeply ingrained human tendency to look at a massive technological shift and treat it like, well, just another software update.
Right, like, oh, I'll just learn where the new buttons are, I'll adapt my workflow a tiny bit, and life will go on.
Exactly. But when you look at the artificial intelligence revolution, that gradual adaptation mindset, it's a trap.
A massive trap.
You face an urgent, stark binary choice.
Yeah.
Either you figure out how to make AI work for you, or you are going to end up working for AI.
That is the fundamental fork in the road right now. And the window to make that choice, it's closing rapidly. The landscape is fundamentally altering underneath our feet.
It really is. Which is exactly what we are tearing into today in this deep dive.
Yeah, the default path, the one that the vast majority of the workforce is passively drifting toward right now, is the path where the machine becomes the manager.
And it's scary because it's so invisible. Today we're looking at a profoundly deep analysis from a recent diary of a CEO interview with the legendary author and thinker Seth Godin.
Right. And our mission today isn't just to, admire the problem. We want to decode Godin's warnings about this AI trap and provide you, the listener, with an actual survival guide.
Yes, a survival guide, because surviving this shift means completely rethinking our relationship with quitting, right?
Absolutely. It means understanding this paralyzing psychological concept called the donkey mindset, confronting our sunk costs, and identifying our true human moats.
The things machines can't touch: connection and good taste. Okay, let's unpack this, because to truly grasp the scale of what we are dealing with, we have to look at the historical context.
We do. And Godin claims that AI is the biggest societal change since the invention of electricity.
Which sounds like hyperbole, right? But you have to remember, Godin was studying at Stanford with AI pioneers like Doug Lynott back in, 1983?
Yeah, the early 80s. He has been watching this space for decades. And the historical parallel to electricity is incredibly precise when you actually look at how these technologies are adopted.
How so? Break that down for us.
Well, think back to the late 19th century, right around 1890. You had entire generations of highly skilled laborers, blacksmiths, weavers, manual machinists.
People who worked with their hands.
Exactly. And they looked at the early electrical grids and viewed them as just a passing novelty. They genuinely believed they could wait for electricity to, quote-unquote, go away.
Wow. They thought it was a fad.
Yeah. Or they thought it would only apply to, super niche industries. So they doubled down on their manual skills. But the tragic flaw in their thinking was failing to recognize electricity as a general-purpose technology.
Right, because a general-purpose technology doesn't just improve one existing process, it rewrites the entire economics of production.
Perfectly said. And AI operates on that exact same level, but the deployment curve is exponentially steeper.
Because we aren't waiting decades for physical copper wire to be laid across the country.
Right, the infrastructure for AI is already in everyone's pocket. It's on your phone right now. Which brings us directly to that binary choice you mentioned. Path A is the scenario where you work for an AI.
The biological gig worker scenario.
Yeah, you essentially become a biological gig worker. The AI system acts as the central intelligence, the strategist, the boss.
So it's handling all the high-level cognitive tasks, the data synthesis, the planning.
And it pushes the residual, low-level scraps to the human workers.
Yeah.
The physical actions or the edge case manual data entries.
Which sounds like a profoundly insecure, exhausting existence. I mean, the algorithm is dictating the pace, the route, the output.
It's miserable. But then there's Path B, the inverse. In Path B, AI works for you.
Right. You recognize AI as this ultimate lever. You use these incredibly powerful processing tools to amplify what machines actually cannot do, which is human connection.
Exactly. You leverage the AI to handle all the mundane, structural, codified stuff, so you free up your bandwidth to build networks of people, solve nuanced emotional problems, and, actually lead.
Because while we have figured out how to replicate logic and pattern recognition, we don't know how to write an algorithm for genuine human trust.
We really don't.
So that means we need an objective way to look at our current jobs and figure out if we are on path A or path B. How do you know if your specific role is about to be consumed?
The rule-based trap is the ultimate litmus test here.